Hi guys, Andrew Davidson here, and welcome back to another As Per My Ability video. First things first, I am recording this video. It is currently 2020 at the time of recording, and I know that this particular video is going to be going up in 2021. So I'd like to start off the video by saying greetings, future people, greetings from the past, greetings from 2020. So hopefully 2021 is off to a good start, a better start. And so, having said that, before we get into the video for the game today, I'm going to do a little bit of bookkeeping. If you like our videos, if you like As Per My Ability, if you like board games, if you like our content, do us a favor and please comment, like, and subscribe. We definitely appreciate everyone that subscribes to the channel. And make sure you hit the little bell so you get notifications when we do post new videos. As we move through 2021, there's going to be a lot more content, and we're going to be kind of branching out into different sort of discussions and things like that in regards to board games. Okay, so having said that, I am about 3 years late to the party on this game. I understand that. I know, I get it. I'm going to be talking about an older game today. Now, for those of you that don't know me, one of my favorite TV shows is Lost, and one of my favorite books is Lord of the Flies by William Golding. And so, keeping that in mind, I was really drawn to this particular game, which follows the idea of you and your players, up to 6 players, crash land on an island. You're in a plane, you crash land, and you're on an island, and you need to survive, work together to survive X amount of days until you are rescued from the island. And so, since Lost and Lord of the Flies are kind of my favorite thing, figured this game would be my jam. So today we're going to be talking about a game called RAVINE. So like I said, RAVINE is an older game, came out 2-3 years ago. It is published by Stellar Factory, who also made Space Team a few years ago, which is a real-time cooperative game. And as I've already said, I'm just going to hit it really briefly. You are in a plane that crash lands on an island, and you need to stay alive. You need to survive with you and your friends. It is a cooperative game with a little bit of an easy, quick-paced party game element to it, or party feel to it. So why don't we get into it, and let me show you about the game, and then we'll come back and we'll talk some more about it. So, like I said, the objective of RAVINE is for at least one player to make it alive, surviving on the island through 12 night phases. 12 is the standard game. You can go less than 12 or you can go higher than 12 to increase or decrease the difficulty, but 12 night cards is the standard game. You're going to start off by setting up the game by putting the campfire token on its expired side, I guess. There's also a side where the fire is lit, but the fire starts out without being lit. You're going to give every player 3 heart tokens, and then you're going to give them 3 more. But the 3 more that you give them, they're going to take in their hand and kind of roll on the table. Oh, geez. And that will be their starting health. I didn't roll any, so I start at 3 health. And there's ways for you to go up and down with health as you play. So these are the night cards. In order to win, you need to get to the rescue card, which is going to be buried deep within the last 3 cards. You won't know, it'll be kind of hidden. So you'll take the last 3 cards and then shuffle, and it'll be on the bottom somewhere within the last 3 cards. Could be the bottom one, could be the first of the 3. And then here's your night deck set up with a total of 12 cards is what I have for standard. And here's your foraging deck for when you go foraging. The game is very simple. It takes place over a day phase and a night phase. In the day phase, you have 2 options, or players have 2 options. One is you can sit and do nothing. Great. Nothing happens, you don't heal, you just do nothing. Or you can go foraging. Now, to go foraging, you have to sacrifice hearts for however many cards you want to go out, because you're essentially leaving the camp and then coming back with, hey, here's what I found. So for each heart that you lose, you can take a card, up to a maximum of 3. And so let's say I want to go foraging. This isn't a really optimal move, but I will spend 2 hearts, and then you take 2 forage cards, and players will keep them face down until all of the players have done their foraging, if they choose to. Once foraging is done, then you are allowed to look at them. So everyone will kind of simultaneously reveal. And here I found wood and I found fiber. And now, yeah, I know what you're thinking, like, okay, la-di-da, what's the deal? Well, everyone has this little guide of crafting. What you can craft, you can spend your foraging, like you can spend 1 wood and you can turn your fire on. You can light the fire, make everyone warm in case something happens at night, like cold, that will, you know, affect all the players. Now everyone can be warm at night. Or you can use a wood and a stone to create a spear, which protects against animal attacks, a one-time thing. A basket, wood and 2 fiber, which increases your carrying capacity. It basically just means that you just get an extra card when you forage. And then there's a shelter. And all of these are cards, which are over here. They're kind of off to the side. So here's your basket, your spear, and your shelter. Now the shelter can protect up to 3 players. So if you're playing with 6 players, that means you have to decide and delineate who is going to be in the shelter and which 3 are not. And to do that, each player is going to put their finger on the card while the night card is being resolved to indicate that they are sleeping in the shelter, and anyone that doesn't have their hand on the card is not sleeping in the shelter. One thing I forgot to mention is at the beginning of the game, you will also give everyone a piece of wreckage from the plane. So as you see here, my name is D. Rankin. I have an adrenaline syringe, and what it does is it completely restores hearts for 1 player when used. And it says right here, use single use. So players will put this kind of in front of them or whatever to just be used and discarded when they use it, like that. So during the day phase, players either just kind of sit and do nothing, or they go foraging and bring back what they have. Then they can craft things if they want, if they choose. If not, then they can just keep their foraging stuff. I know this is off camera. And they can keep their foraging stuff just in front of them just for later rounds if they're still alive. There are some cards in here. Let me just try to... that will give you some healing points. So you'll see, notice the hearts, the curants, or the rabbit. Now the hearts will heal you and your friends. So you can take the hearts and give them out however you please. You can split them up. So you can say, I'm going to heal myself 1, but then I'm going to heal Bradley 2. Or I'm going to give myself 1, Brad 1, and Sarah 1 to heal. You can choose however you want. So sometimes you'll find like a rabbit and kill it and you'll have food. There are also some kind of nasty ones in here that, like mushrooms, you are unable to move or speak until the next day. So you as a character, as a player, I should say, are unable to move or speak until the next day. And that provides a bit of the party aspect, which I'm going to get into later. And so when everyone's done foraging, it's really quick. Then you resolve a night card, which you'll flip over and see what this one says. This one says, the wind howls through the trees and chills you to your very marrow. So unsheltered players lose 1 heart, all fiber is lost. So unsheltered players, meaning if they didn't have their finger on the shelter, well, right now no shelter is built. And so everyone would lose 1 heart. Well, this would end up killing me in this example. Like I said, it was a poor example, and I would be dead. When you die, all of your cards, including your wreckage card, go to the middle, and then the rest of the people alive can pick through and decide how they want to give out your stuff. There is a way for you to come back. It's highly unlikely, but within this deck there, if you find, let's see if I can do it really quickly here. If you can find 4 bone cards, which here's a bone pile. If collectively the players have collectively 4 bones, they can trade these cards in to revive a player who is dead, which is good because you need at least someone to be alive by the time you get through here. If everyone's dead, then the game is over and you've lost. Also, let's get to the party aspect. So as you've already seen a little bit, some of the cards will kind of control how the players will work, meaning like there's some that's like you can't speak for the round. You can't move your arms or use your arms for the round. Things like that. Sort of something that got inspired by that got started in the 90s by a game called Quelf, where it's just like read the card and then do the silly thing that it tells you to do. So when you start the next day, your fire will always go out if it were lit, and you would start the next day. If someone ever gets down to 1 health point, which is where I guess I was at as I was doing this, but so like for edification purposes, let's pretend I survived and I didn't die. If you get down to 1 heart, then you will draw a card from the Madness deck. This is the party Quelf aspect, where players will draw a card and resolve it and kind of do like what it says. So for example here, you would challenge the player across from you to a staring contest. The first one to laugh loses 1 heart. And then upon completion of the task, if there's no one else to challenge, you lose 1 heart. So in other words, if you're all by yourself, you lose 1 heart. Once this effect is done, the Madness card is gone. If you ever gain health and then lose it again, you will draw another Madness card. For example, this one says all players must give you all of their crafting supplies. There's one, like thumb wrestling, challenge the player on your left to thumb, or arm wrestling match. The loser loses 1 heart. So when you get down to 1 heart, you kind of enter this party game feel with these Madness cards. I'm not sure where I'm at with the Madness cards. I do not like Quelf. I've never really liked games that make you draw a card and stand up and salute everybody and say, I am captain in your pants, or just goofy, or like always end your sentences with in my pants. Just why? Because the card told me to. And so that's essentially the game. Once you have the night cards kind of resolved, you'll be going through and resolving them until you come across the rescue card, which means the game is over. As long as 1 person is still alive, everybody wins posthumously. As long as 1 person is alive, or if everyone is dead, if everyone just kind of taps out and no one gets revived, that's the end of the game. The game takes about 15 to 20 minutes to play, and so it's a really easy, fun party game to set up and do like multiple games of kind of all in one shot. And so that's a brief overview of pretty much everything that's involved and how RAVINE works. So let's get back to my thoughts. So in my opinion, RAVINE is a really good amalgamation of cooperative survival and just light, quick, kind of party atmosphere games. It really is kind of a good mix. It's easy to teach. As you've seen from the overview, there's not a whole lot going on, a couple of components, a couple of cards. That's about it. So I would recommend this game to people that are looking for this type of cooperative game, a cooperative survival game that's not Robinson Crusoe, that's not Dead of Winter, and that's not this War of Mine, because all of those that I just mentioned are incredibly difficult to learn, incredibly difficult to play, and incredibly difficult to win. Now, RAVINE, at the time of this recording, I have only played RAVINE a handful of times, and we have not won the game yet, although I do feel as if this is a completely winnable game, unlike some other games that I've talked about that I just listed. And so RAVINE, who is the game for? I think if you're looking for more of the party aspect rather than the cooperative strategic part of it, this game was perfect for you. It plays up to 6 players. As most party games, I feel it plays better with more people. I have played it with 3, and I've played it with more than 3. I have not beaten the game yet, but it does feel like kind of a fun, fast game, and it does feel like it is a winnable game. Now, there is an expansion for Ravine out there that's just an expansion of cards, I believe, and maybe some tokens that allow you to play up to, I believe, 9 players instead of 6. I'm not sure how that would feel with 9 players, with like the foraging and people being killed off and stuff like that. It seems like it would be an interesting avenue to try, but I don't know if I'm going to just invest the like little $15 to add in the expansion pack to play with 9 players instead of 3 to 6 players. So my final thoughts on Ravine is this is a pretty excellent game. So the positives are it's great, it's easy to play, it's party game, blah, 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 all that, already done it. Negatives is the replay value is really not there. I've played this game just a handful of times and I'm already feeling it kind of going towards the shelf, if you know what I mean. Like yeah, it's not really going to probably be pulled out to hit the table a whole lot. I do want to try it with a bigger amount, the full capacity of 6 players, which I've not done, but I don't think that this is a game that you're going to probably play over and over again from week to week when you have friends over, or when you have your game nights, or when you play with, you know, your friends. This is not really a good spouse / couple / significant other / whatever you ascribe to these days type of game, because it doesn't play 2 players. There is no 2-player variant, I believe, in the game. And so Ravine is a really quick, cooperative survival game. I highly recommend it if you're willing to find a good price for it, because you got to keep in mind that the price that you're paying for this game is the price that you're paying for the amount of, I'm going to say, anywhere from 6 to a dozen plays. So keep that in mind, bear that in mind when you are looking for it. If this is interesting, if you're looking for it on Amazon, or if you're looking for it at a Target or a retailer or something like that, keep in mind the price point and the fact that I really firmly believe you're not going to be playing this game all throughout the year. You're going to play it a bunch and it's going to hit the shelf, kind of like me, and then who knows, maybe a year from now you'll be like, yeah, you know what, we haven't played Ravine in a while. That's this type of game. It's not the ultimate, penultimate classic game that I could, you know, spout off some other games, but those are games for a different video. So that's kind of how Ravine is, and like I said, how it works. And so if you guys have any questions about Ravine or anything else, please sure to leave some comments below. And again, as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for helping us out. And I will see you guys all at the next video, where I will also be in 2021. So we'll be on the same year wavelength. That's exciting. I'll see you guys at the next video.